and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to give them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, is it we got to be dogs.
And there we are. We are live, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let me update this. Here we go. Let's get a little our X handles up there. But welcome, everybody. I know we'll be joined here shortly by Jose and Collin as they come in. But I'm so excited to welcome everybody to the show tonight. A lot to get to as we get this conversation going. And of course, for those folks tuning in, I'll repeat this throughout the show. Feel free to say something in the comment section, say hello, ask us questions, disrupt the show as we break down FC Dallas, North Texas SC, and Major League Soccer. Excited to welcome a new face, but a familiar face for those of us who watch the show. A good friend of the show and a fellow. And here comes our number 2 guy here.
Love it.
All right, here we go. Let's figure it out. There we go. Jose, can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine. Can you
all right,
hear me?
Great. Good to have you on, Jose. Welcome. I was just doing some introductions and welcoming our newest friend of the show here and a contributor with Third Degree, covers North Texas Soccer Club, Chris Winters. Welcome, Chris, to the show.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you. Jose, before we start, I actually wanted to say, I didn't realize this, because after I tuned into the show for the first time, I was like, oh, well, I got to go find these guys on Twitter and, see if I can, go follow them and whatnot. And you actually follow me. And I was like, oh, snap. Okay, well, nice to see that I have a little bit of connection going, Didn't even know.
Well, you got to follow the people that cover the team,
Love it.
North Texas, FCD, all about that.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, happy to be here and excited to
have you.
Some FC Dallas. North Texas.
Yeah, and Koof should join us in a little bit. And if we have time tonight, we're going to get into Jersey Gate. I don't know if we gave it that name, but he went viral. Got a lot of support from
I saw that.
But we'll talk about that a little bit later. There's so much. And I was out of town. I was in Memphis for a big conference and was able to kind of tune into some games and stuff, but just wasn't able to do the show from that place. So it was, but we didn't have so much to talk about last Monday. I mean, it was another set of disappointments for the most part. And so it feels different to talk tonight, to get together, to think about where FC Dallas has been. And, even North Texas hasn't been in the best form, although they got a big win this last week. But FC Dallas has a 4-point week. I mean, finally, it's been a long time that we've been able to look back and say, an away draw in San Jose. Of course, they lost to LAFC in LA, which we sort of expected. And then they go up to San Jose without Lucho Acosta, which we'll talk about a little bit. And they get a 2-2 draw. Maybe should have had all 3 points, really, if not just for some defensive lapses that they are known to do. But also a different formation, a different intensity. They get a big result in San Jose that at least sort of stops the bleeding for a moment, maybe helps them pick up some confidence. They come home against St. Louis City, who, yes, are not the best team, are not a great team right now. But you take care of business, 3-0 win at home. Another 2 braces this past week for Peter Musa, huge performance. And, of course, a first goal from Kaique in Major League Soccer in an FC Dallas kit. So a lot to get into from this game. And we'll talk about Sam Sarver in a minute, too, and stuff. But let's just start with the reactions to a 4-point week. Jose, we'll start with you. How you feeling about FC Dallas? Are you hopeful again?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, it just feels so good to finally see the team get a W at home. Followed up a solid road point with a home win. That's what we've been wanting to see. Rolled out a new formation, played the kids, three-man backline without your best defender starting. I got nothing but joy out of watching that match. I mean, that's the happiest I've been watching an FCD game in a long, long time. So nothing but get excitement over here. I mean, yes, we're still below the playoff line, but this gives me a little hope. They have to turn things around at home. That was the monkey on their back. They have to get that off their back. Hopefully, they've done it because if this team can start earning points at home and eking out a point on the road occasionally, they'll give themselves a shot down the stretch.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the big story. Like we almost felt like you could shut the door on the season. I mean, it was just looking that bad, but hey, now it's cracked open. It's cracked open a bit more, So, Chris, your reactions to FC Dallas's win?
Yeah, I mean, it felt different. I don't know, the energy on the team, the sort of personalities that they had going on, like everything in a lot of ways just felt very different and kind of exciting to be a FC Dallas fan again. Obviously it's just one game. It's, just St. Louis, but I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. So yeah, I mean, I hope they can keep it going. I mean, obviously there's some Lucho drama going on right now, and we'll see what ends up happening with him. But, truthfully, I don't know if a lot of other people are thinking this, but I feel like we have some depth at that position specifically. Like obviously Lucho is in a once in a lifetime type of player, but in his form as of late, I mean, why not throw in some young kids? Why not have guys rotate through there and just have guys bring energy to the team? I feel like that's my biggest thing that I took away from that game.
I agree with you too.
Well, I mean, that's the big question, right? Is the Lucho Acosta question has been the big question of the season, and we've certainly had some moments from him, and we've seen also the disconnect with his teammates, or all of those kinds of just challenges, or him just not fitting maybe the way Quill wants. But it does seem like the thing I noticed from both San Jose to the St. Louis game is that the midfield trio, which was different each game, played with a lot more aggressiveness, a lot. I mean, they ran around, and maybe that was a shift of attitude as well. But I think Lucho, when he gets the ball out there, he sort of freezes the other midfielders have to know that they're going to have to cover for him if he loses the ball. So they maybe don't have the freedom to get forward as much, or they have to be sort of 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Like they got to be ready. And so without him out there, they were able to maybe more, sort of fill space, support each other, be a little more aggressive. So it just felt different with this formation than what we've seen before. But maybe too, who knows what other things were going on in the locker room and the conversations that were happening. Like Lucho's a good player. Like he's still a quality player. But this has been the question. Is this team better without Lucho Acosta? And I think it's early to say yes, but these past two games have looked so much better for a team that has just been struggling. So, Chris, do you have an opinion on that? Are you willing to go that far? Or
I don't know. I don't know if I want to go there yet and be like, man, this team is completely revitalized. We're pushing for playoffs. I mean, we have talent, and I think that's undeniable. I at least I was from the very beginning of the season. I thought we had talent at specific positions that I felt like maybe some people were overlooking. I mean, obviously you have a guy like Musa who is an incredible striker. So having a team around him is great enough. And then you add in a guy like Lucho, but I don't know. I think chemistry builds and is more important in certain aspects than others. So I don't know. I'm holding out for now, but we'll see.
Yeah. Jose?
I think if the team was considering it, I think these two games showed them that they could move on without Lucho. In all honesty, would it be more exciting to, slide into the playoffs, even if it's in last spot with Lucho and what we've had all season, or you sell Lucho, you play the kids, and you sneak into the playoffs with while playing the kids? I think that would be much more exciting and certainly would tell you that the team's headed in the right direction. Where right now, we're still waiting for the team to find its direction under Quill, and this last two games gives us hope that maybe they finally found it. Maybe they finally found their identity. And I want to say something else. Seeing the players feed off each other, that's what Quill's been preaching. He's going to have, dogs out there. And it's hard when you're seeing a player or two, one specifically, not having that dog mentality, from for the entirety of the match. And to see that in this last two games, see the team fighting for each other and feeding off each other, most importantly. And I think that's what we want. And the guy has value. I mean, if this is going to be help the team play the way Quill wants it to be, then you got to make that move. Even if we miss the playoffs, playing the kids, playing the team that you want to play, not the team that that's forced on you. This decision needs to be made now, not later.
Luis, a good friend of the show, appreciate your comments, and that's
I don't disagree.
debate.
So I want to defend this move because let's face it, if Lucho's available for the price he was available, how do you pass on him? You can't. Not a team like FC Dallas who needs a star player, somebody to complement Musa. You were looking for that 10 that could get him the ball. You're like, hey, imagine Musa with somebody that can actually get him the ball. That's what we're all dreaming of. Hey, we knew what came with Lucho, but we expected more from him than what we got. You have to take that shot. You have to take that shot. For $6 million for Lucho, I'm sorry. I know some people keep harping up about Evander, this man, that we had no shot at Evander. Evander was never going to happen. We need to stop making that comparison because the truth is, Evander doesn't come here, was never going to come here. Lucho actually came, and we all had our high hopes. If the team decides to go forward with him, and I'll still cheer him on. But I think this team has showed they can win without him.
Well, that was one of those other little storylines. Was that over the course of the past couple weeks, Lucho was at least lost the armband, or it was temporarily. I don't know. Conversations.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
I mean, they really expected him to be a leader, and I think the team has lacked that vocal leader at times. I mean, and it's not the first iteration of FC Dallas's roster that has done that. I mean, a lot of teams. When I started watching FC Dallas, it was Daniel Hernandez and stuff. Great defensive mid who just held guys accountable. Got into guys' faces about what was expected, and with a big turnover roster, maybe they you expected some of those challenges, some communication issues, but it's been a frustrating season, and as a helicopter goes on overhead here at my house, I'm like, are they looking for me? Is someone said, but. It's a weird situation because we were so hyped at the beginning of the season for Lucho, and we've had some moments where you're like, well, this guy can do stuff that the other guys can't. But we've also had injuries, and we've also, I think, struggled to find the formation that best utilized the players that we have at our disposal.
And I want to reiterate that I still feel like this team has yet to, have their best 11 play together at any point in the season. I don't think that's happened yet, and as the sooner it happens, the better. But like you said, someone's always injured on this team. Usually a starter. If it's not Leggett, it's Musa. If it's not Musa, it's Urogide, whoever. We've always seem to have somebody injured, and usually it's more than one. So, like I said, I don't think this team has had played at full strength just yet, and that's made it that much harder for Quill to implement what he wants to implement. And seeing them, like I said, roll out the same formation the last two matches, a formation that we've all have not liked in the past, and seeing it actually work without your best defensive player, I think that's exciting. I think that's the excitement there, and I hope they make a decision that'll both be best for the team and for Lucho here in the next month or so.
All right. Well, welcome, Kuv. You made it.
The man of the hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Trying to get your.
Yes, sir.
Collin at Mr. Coov. I don't know why it's not updating. There it goes. All right, good. Welcome. Good to have you on. Yeah, we were just talking about this win. We were talking about the Lucho question. But before we get into anything else, let's hear from head coach FC Dallas head coach Eric Quill about the game, and really particularly, I think it was nice to be in a press conference with him where he had positive things to say, where he wasn't lamenting and struggling with the sad state of the team. But he talked about Josh Torquato and Sam Sarver, their impacts on the game, and especially, Sam Sarver scores 4 goals from North Texas in an incredible performance the night before. He comes down to Frisco for Kansas City, comes in late, he draws a penalty, and it's as if like we can't have this question anymore. Like, it's time to sign the kid. We need that energy in this team. Let's just hear Quill talk about both of those players.
I come from a developmental background. I played the game. I know when the talent is there, plus the heart and attitude. So Josh Torquato, 17 years old. He's not 17 out there. He's not 17 out there. 2 games in a row, he's, this kid's stepping up with just an enormous amount of confidence in himself, and we saw it in preseason. So it's no shock to me, and I hope you're going to see this kid rise and rise and rise. Sam Sarver, he hasn't been integrated with the group really until last week, and he's a personality type, as you can see, that beats to his own drummer. He has connected our group with his passion for the game. I was a fan of Sam in 15 minutes that I just watched him play. I was inspired by his effort, and he scores 4 goals last night in Kansas City and comes here and draws a penalty. I think you could say the kid's on fire. But he's as humble as they come. He's as fun as they come. That locker room right now, because of him, is a few octaves up, and we need that. Personality helps. So I'm just elated for the guys. Elated for the guys because it's, monkey off the back a little bit.
Yeah, a fan. 15 minutes of watching the kid play. Sam Sarver, what a legend. What an absolute joy he's been to watch. I mean, Chris, I'll start with you. You've watched him a lot too. I mean, once he got going, and we've seen some inconsistent moments from him. I mean, just as any young player adapting to the professional side of things, you expect it's going to happen. But it just seems like it was destined, right? That this kid was forcing himself into the senior team conversation with just the way he's been playing.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you look a couple weeks ago, I mean, he kind of had a little bit of a down performance, but this entire season for North Texas has been dependent on whether or not Sarver has the ball, because he creates the entire offense. I mean, he's in a lot of ways that Cam type of mentality player, but he plays out on the wing and he just gets behind the defense. And I mean, he's just so electric. He's so fast. And so, I mean, as someone that, a young 30-year-old who doesn't have any kids and watching this team for a year, it feels like one of those proud father moments where like my kid's kind of moving on from North Texas to the senior team. Cause it's a matter of, when, it's not if. I mean, he's just, especially with like the missing holes for FC Dallas on the right side over there on the wing, like why not, why not bring him up already?
Yeah. Kuva, I want your reaction. Of course, Luis says, Packers aren't playing, buddy. Little bro.
Oh man, I was wondering why. I was wondering why I was feeling nauseous there. Like,
it's fine. The Packers have more playoff wins in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys do. It's okay.
Oh, let's not get nasty here.
It's awesome.
Coop, tell us about watching Sarver on the other night, Saturday night.
Oh man, it was electric, man. I mean, you could tell the last time he came onto the field, he was electric and brought an energy to the team that kind of literally brought everyone up around him. The team was really sluggish. The team was starting to give up last home game he came on when we saw him, and he just came on and he was electric, and it lit up everybody and kind of gave them a spark that we hadn't seen before from someone off the bench. And I mean, the same thing happened again on Saturday. I mean, the team was getting a little bit comfortable with the 2-0, and they were kind of getting more defensive, not really willing to progress the ball as much as they were willing to play or overlap on the wing. Sarver comes on, and man, he's like, give me the ball, let me get involved. Shaq Moore then has an option on the wing because they're having to play almost like Delgado on the ring until Sarver came on. So the Delgado sub was great until we saw what really could happen with a player in that position in Sarver when he came on. So it's getting to the point now where Sarver's used his 4 loan call-ups, like his short-term loans to FC Dallas. So if FC Dallas wants to use him again, they're going to have to sign him, which I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something literally tomorrow or the next day about that, by the way. But once we
hint,
hint, yeah, he needs to. We're gonna sign him, and when we do, I think it's only a matter of time before he takes Kamungo's spot. And I don't say that as trying to diss Bernie or nothing, but he's on the downhill trajectory, and he has been since Nico. Nico tried to convert him to a wingback, kind of killed his development a little bit. And now he's too reliant on the left foot, and teams know. That's why they just sit on the inside. Whenever he's on the right, if he's on the right wing, they sit on the inside. If he's on the left wing, they push him. They let him cut inside. They don't care. They just don't let him go outside because they know he can't use his right foot. So Sarver can use both feet. He's quick. He's strong. He muscled off their left back and Totland multiple times on each side. I mean, man, it's one of those things. I'm excited to see Sarver play. I haven't had this much of excitement about a North Texas SC player in a long time. So I'm really excited to see him come up and start playing by the end of the season. By the end of the season, I say he'll be starting for sure.
I'm gonna go out.
Like you're at a shooting range, by the way. I don't know.
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out and defend Kamungo and say that he had one of his better matches this game, and really the issue's been finding him a position, and they started him up top, and I thought he did good, and that's really has been his problem. He has talent, and sure he's not the most multifaceted player, but his struggles have been from being moved around, being asked to play maybe positions he's not comfortable playing. And I thought this last match, honestly, he didn't score, but I thought he was dangerous. I thought he was active. I thought it was the best he's looked in a while. He was solid as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not ready to give up on him. I just think they need to find him a home and stay and keep him there and stop moving the kid around. You're damaging his development.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough to watch as a guy who came up from North Texas, was in just such excellent form, played himself into sort of a fringe United States men's national team picture, and then just has suffered a bit as, yes, other coaches have either misplayed him or you just have ruts, and players have ruts. And
in his defense, though, Nathan, just about every FCD player that gets called up to national team comes back damaged goods. I mean, you name me a player that hasn't come back injured or whose form hasn't dipped after going to the national team from FC Dallas. I can't think of the last guy that didn't come back damaged in some form or another.
Matt Edges, back in the day.
Okay, you're going back, but I did ask for that. I'm just saying.
That's way back. Yeah.
Just stop calling him up, man.
Well, we mentioned North Texas got a big 4-0 win on the road. They have at times looked like they were inching to be the dominant team that we saw last season. Though those are pretty high expectations for this squad with so much turnover. But then we've seen them also drop points and even have the disappointment against Houston that I think Gall was really disappointed in. But they go up, they get a big win against Sporting Kansas City too. Not SKC2 is not a great team right now at all, but Sarver just took over that game. It was a great performance. So it does gives us hope for North Texas again as the second half of the season comes along, but it also gives us hope with now Torquato and Sam Sarver playing themselves out of North Texas into FC Dallas that maybe maybe some things are starting to line again in this organization, and we're going to get some youth movement again, which is we see with Philadelphia Union doing it so well is a key to putting together a really strong team when you don't have the resources of say Inter Miami or LAFC, right? So I'm liking the direction of these past couple weeks when we haven't necessarily seen that more recently, I think, with the organization. So, and I love seeing Quill talk about his development roots more. I mean, that's something we're all expecting to see more of, I think. Chris, you've been following North Texas. How are you feeling, about this sort of second half push of the season, more than halfway through, I guess? You feeling confident North Texas is kind of hover where they are, or can they push a little bit further up as seeding starts to settle in?
I mean, just thinking that Sarver's kind of on his way out, right? Like this week at some point, I'm a little worried about how we're going to replace him. And I say we as North Texas just because, I mean, if you look at the team, they don't have a whole lot of options. Obviously it's a developmental team, so you're moving guys from North Texas up to FC Dallas. You're trying to get them playing time up there, but losing Collodi at the beginning of the season, and then Correa, he ends up going to Tigres, and so now you're stuck with Montoya and Harms, who, albeit haven't been amazing this season. And then Torquato goes up, so you have Gall, who kind of moves over to the left back. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like as soon as you kind of find a nice form for the team, someone ends up getting moved up or moving out. So I'm a little worried once things kind of settle down a little bit in the second half of the season. Can a guy like Tariq Scott, can he find a form? I don't know if Collin, you said this on Twitter, but does a guy like Kamungo, does he move down and get some playing time with North Texas? I mean, I feel like they're going to have to find a replacement for Sarver because he's just so incredibly good. I mean, the last game is just kind of indicative of that. And, I think right now, he has 14 of the team's goals. So he's the offense in a lot of ways. So I don't know how you replace that necessarily with some guys injured and some guys getting time with FC Dallas.
And whether maybe Sarver, gets that contract and it's a two-way, so he can still go back down or not, True. Maybe that helps a bit. Because I don't think Sarver is going to start right away or anything like that. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll play himself into that situation. I mean, other piece of news for FC Dallas this week was the signing of Lucius Don Dietzen, a forward, Haitian international, scored in Dallas recently. Not too long ago, I think, right? Comes from OB. Should be an interesting signing, and it could be a really good fit, and not super expensive. So, but I imagine they're not going to spend that amount of money and not start him some, or figure out if they can use him. Henderson Julio, but
I'm just going to cut you off there for a second, Nathan.
Sure.
I just want to put my 2 cents in on the North Texas real quick. Look, the defense has been really bad. There's no getting around that. We've got, -3, I believe, is the goal differential right now. They got the third worst defense in the West, and the only reason that they've been successful is because Sarver is almost 50% of the offense. Not quite, but he's getting there. And we all want him to come to Dallas. And do you want North Texas to win or do you want FC Dallas to win? I want FC Dallas to win. And I think Sarver's done what he's going to do with North Texas. I think he's a guy that would be an excellent super sub. That kind of energy at the end of the game, that's something you want to, pump into your team. And, if you sign to FCD, make an FCD player. I think that we've all been waiting for Scott to get healthy, and I think he's starting to show signs that he's getting back to himself. So I think maybe this is the right time to move Sarver up and make Scott the focus of that attack and see if Scott can finally, start rounding out the form again. But North Texas right now, they're going to have to fight. If Sarver gets signed by FC Dallas, North Texas is going to be hard-pressed to even make the playoffs. They'll be in contention, but they're not a sure thing. And that's what our serve team's for. You need to find, if you're losing two big players, two big talents in Sarver and Torquato to FC Dallas, a team that needs help, there's nothing to complain there. Like I said, it'll open up minutes for other kids, and I'm excited to see where both teams go if that happens. So sorry.
And there's a third player there. No, I mean, because I was just going to say, FC Dallas doesn't sign Dietzen and spend some money on him, even if it's not an enormous amount of money, to let Sam Sarver start in his place. I mean, they're going to give this guy a run. And so, Sam Sarver, even if he's with the senior team, is going to have to, come off the bench probably at first. And so there'll be minutes with North Texas, I think. But also, Alvaro, is another guy that was getting minutes from North Texas, and now he's kind of in the mix there with FC Dallas because we need defensive help. If you're playing 3 center backs, one guy's still working his way back from injury, you're going to need that third guy who can come in. So, yeah, it does. It seems like North Texas is the loser at the end of this equation, but it's also kind of the purpose of North Texas, right? If we want North Texas to win again, that'd be great. But this is also what's going to happen. You play well in North Texas, you're going to get a shot with the next level.
That's great advertisement for your reserve team, in all honesty. Hey, those tryouts, we have a proven track record of signing players who perform with North Texas to the senior team. That's what players want. They want to say, hey, I want to get my foot in the front door, get to that next level. And North Texas has a proven track record. So every time they sign a player, if they sign Sarver, the Hunts are going to be, that they love them feel-good stories. They're going to be pumping that out as much as they can. And you can't blame them for that. It's good business for your reserve teams to show that, you don't need a whole season to get up to the senior team. You just got to play your heart out. Pedrinho last year, Sarver this year. Yeah, keep it going.
And I think the other story too is just like FC Dallas is getting a lot of things right in the scouting department with the draft, especially. Other teams, are not even caring about the draft, but to go get a guy like Sam Sarver who makes such an impact, just another example of them finding some interesting pieces. Mo Cisse seems like another solid guy to have around to see how he develops. So there are the pieces there. We knew North Texas was going to have to really figure things out this year with an almost entirely new squad and a young squad at that. So one of the youngest this time around as compared to last season.
Okay, sorry to have derailed you there. Back on Dietzen.
No, but
hey, we need help. We need help at that spot, and adding more talent to compete. I'm all for it.
Yeah, a guy certainly familiar with CONCACAF kind of football and some of the dirtiness that can happen out there. Good. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, typically, again, we're not spending a ton of money on him, so maybe the expectations are lowered. Maybe he'll get a shot though, definitely to make an impact.
We've been missing a master of the dark arts on this team since was it Acosta? I think it was the last guy that we had that was really good at that. So if that guy offers any of that, that would be awesome. We need those guys that can, force the terrible fouls from opponents or draw. I mean, the Sarver penalty. I mean, how many penalties have we had this year? We need people that can force the other teams to sort of bite on things like that. We haven't had somebody that's very skillful at that in a long time.
All right, well, let's move on here. Before we do that, just a reminder, this weekend, North Texas back in action at Toyota Stadium, not Choctaw, against Tapatio. So it should be a MLS Next Pro Invitational, fun opportunity to see a lot of young players showcase themselves and their abilities. Should be a fun one to enjoy for those around. But let's shift over since Coov's here. Coov went viral this week. So one of the things that happened was FC Dallas, of course, debuted their legacy kit, the Burn kit. What a nice kit, a gorgeous kit. It's got me. I've got one in my shopping cart, and I'm just thinking about how I approach my wife about it. Like, honey, I need one, but we'll see. We'll see how that conversation goes. But yeah, really nice kit. In the process, sending out to FC Dallas reached out to season ticket holders who had perfect attendance last season and said, hey, we're going to send you one as a thank you for your support. And Couv didn't get one, even though he has traipsed all the way down from Wichita Falls time and time again, putting mileage on that car, on those, wearing down those tires to make it to those games. And expressed his disappointment, didn't receive a satisfactory response for customer relations. I'm not trying to get into all the details, but then was able to reach out to Dan Hunt, and Dan Hunt made it right. Even I guess you met with him before the game. Is that right, Couv?
Yeah. So literally, like dealt with my rep through it, and he was just like straight up can't honor the thing. You're missing games, whatever. So we were like, okay, let's talk to Cats. He's like head of sales and ticketing and everything. It's like let's just go to him. Showed bank statements. Literally me on the broadcast of the game that they said I missed. Literally circled in the crowd during right after Paul's goal in the section circled. And I posted the follow up email because my dad had been dealing with it because he's technically the account owner, and it's just easier for me to just give him the money for my seats and me do my own thing. And Katz knows who I am, so I emailed Katz personally, thinking, okay, like we've gotten this taken care of in the past in 21 with Sean before he passed. He we got everything done and everything. So what happened is basically Kat said no. It was like we can't honor it. Sorry, didn't give me an explanation why. Just straight up kept saying no, can't honor it. So what happened is basically we had to. I just posted on Twitter just because I know a lot of the FCD fandom and especially the SG scene isn't the biggest fan of Cats and how he treats the SG. So I knew it would get some traction. I did not expect for it to blow up like it did. But it blew up out of nowhere. I think it was like 35,000 interactions in like 2 days. Atletico Dallas got involved and sent me their kit and a little care package, which was really sick of them. Their owner and chairman followed me on Twitter and messaged me saying, "Hey, I'm sorry about that. We'd like to offer you tickets to our home opener whenever we come around. So I'll be going out there for their games and stuff." And then all of a sudden, I get a DM on Twitter from Dan Hunt. I didn't even message him or even think about it. And he just messaged me and was like, hey, I'd love to set up a call on Wednesday, get your side of things, go through the proof. And, I sent him the same screenshots, sent Cats and everything. And basically what happened is we talked it out on Wednesday. He talked to me on like a personal level about, I think he talked about like how he owns some farms in Vernon or something. It's like an hour north of us. And he's like, I'm always coming through Wichita. It's such a nice town. It's why we picked it for the preseason training 2 years ago. I was like, okay, like just personal stuff. Just getting on a. He's doing the salesman pitch, which I love him to death. But it's like, dude, at that point, you can just talk to me like a normal human being. And he was like, well, let me look into it, and I'll. He said he was going to call back Friday. He had some personal stuff come up, so he was like, I'll just meet you in your seats on Saturday. Well. Get there Saturday, he meets up, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry about it. Checked everything. You were, in fact, here. I want to honor the jersey. And it was supposed to be for a replica jersey. Well, he ended up giving me an authentic jersey. And he looked at our sizing, and he was like, is this the right size and everything? And I was like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's not the right size. And he was like, okay, let me see what I can do. So I ended up getting a 2X authentic and a 3X replica. So I got two kits out of it. He dropped me his number and everything, and was like, anything else happens, let me know. I'd love to talk about it. And then next time he's in Wichita, he said he'd hit me up and stuff. So it was a nice experience for sure. Once he got out of the salesman mindset, but I mean, Dan, he's just a nice guy. Honestly, he knows he's known me since I was. Or of me since I was 16, 17. He said he sees my tweets all the time and everything. But the good and the bad is what he said. And I was like, yeah, I know. And he expressed his frustration and didn't really understand the lineup and everything for the game, a couple different things. And then afterwards he was like, hey, it works. Let's see if it keeps on working. So it's just one of those things. Dan got it all handled out, man. And it was a bad experience gone right. And I was treated right eventually. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. So.
It was fun to see so many people come to your support. I mean, you are a fixture. You do come down for Wichita Falls for these games. You support the team. You're vocal about the team. You've jumped on this podcast here this year, and it's been great to have you on. And yeah, so it's good that it ended, and it's good to see that like Dan Hunt. I mean, fans complain about Dan Hunt. They complain about different folks within the organization. I only pretty much deal with media folks, and I just know the media folks are just people, and they're good people. They're doing their job, and they when the games stink, they suffer too. They want to see good soccer too, and but they also have a job to do, and so there's just it's an interesting thing to be reminded that these people are people, and there are folks in the FC Dallas front office that want to make sure things are right for everybody, and so it's good. It was fun to see the resolution there, Coop, and yeah, maybe make sure you get a photo for the live stream when Mr. Hunt rolls through.
Oh, 100%. You got it.
All right. You're active. I don't. Are you about to play a game, Collin? What's going on?
All right.
I was just at a batting practice for our softball league, so I was heading to the car.
There, I was like, is he at a shooting range? Is it skee ball? What's going on in there? Well, that's good. All right. Well, it's been good. A good show. Let's start closing out with some predictions and any other last minute thoughts. I don't know if there's anything I have not covered or anything. There's just so much these past couple of weeks. I mean, Chris, one thing I'm worried about. Well, I'll say the same question of you. If Sarver goes up without Torquato, Gavin Gall has had a couple of moments at that left back position, but I think he's a nice piece of depth that is familiar to the coaching staff. Nice guy probably to have around in that squad, but is North Texas going to go out and add some players? Are they going to be looking at the academy? Are they going to be looking for a loan or two? They already brought this guy in from New Mexico United, a youngster. Yeah. Are you hearing anything from your end about some potential trialists that are going to be part of the dominoes falling if these moves all happen?
Not at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if something does come through, I will say. There's a lot of moving parts going on, so we'll end up seeing what happens. But some of the moves they've already made, I think, are pretty solid. Bringing in Dubois from New Mexico, I think that was a solid move on their end. They're pretty loaded. Truthfully, I think at the midfield position, it's really just been a game of the defense, right? With Gavin Gall, looked great early on in the season. As he's been more relied on as it kind of goes, he's been a little bit more shaky, but I think it's just more experience that he's got to get playing at this level for the MLS Next Pro. But Cisse's been out in and out, so I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future with North Texas, but I think it'll be exciting. I mean, there's going to be another young kid that comes through, and it'll be the next Sam Sarver, and all things will be right with the world. So,
yeah. Well, let's close out with some predictions. FC Dallas is back in action at home this Friday against New York City FC coming to town. NYCFC is, of course, capable of being a really good team, but also has had their issues this season. So there are points to be had as they come west and face the Frisco Heat. So let's do some predictions. I'm going with another Musa brace. I just think the guy's on fire right now. 2-0 FC Dallas at home, and I think Lucho Acosta. I mean, we've hinted, we've sort of talked around this. Continues to be out for personal reasons, which I guess there has been a rumor out there that maybe the third degree folks have been talking about it. It's kind of filtered over that there is an attempt to maybe find a new home for him, or there's a potential conversation about that. Don't know how serious that is, or if that's just one among many options, but it'll be interesting to see if he plays a role on Friday. But if not, I'm not going to be surprised. And maybe he'll play a role off the bench, but I think Musa has just been in such strong form. 2-0 win at home for FC Dallas. Jose?
Yeah, New York City, they're solid defensively as far as I can tell. Maybe not the most dangerous team, but I'm gonna have to go with 1-0. I think Musa gets the goal. I think it's gonna be one of those games where we'll be chewing our nails down the stretch. And I want to add this though, Nathan. If you're right, and Musa, let's say Musa gets a brace, then um, it needs to be pointed out that he would be on pace to potentially break the goals scored in a season for FC Dallas should that happen. I mean, he's already sitting at 11, 10, 11. So I mean, you know, getting to 13 or 14, with 9, 10 games to go, that puts him there. So I would say he's already there, but I'm not trying to jinx him. I'm just saying if Musa can keep this run, then that's got to come into the picture.
Chris, any thoughts about this week? It's Friday.
Man, I feel like I'm still somewhat of a resident skeptic for FC Dallas. I mean, I feel like it's been such a long season. I want to say 1-1 draw. Obviously it's more fun to predict a win, and I would love to see. I think like with Jose, 1-0 sounds pretty ideal, but that defense, the back line, I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to hold NYC, from scoring. So I'm going 1-1.
Okay. Kuv?
I am going to take a 1-1 draw, same as Chris. I think New York City is not only solid defensively, they got Alonso Martinez, who is the streakiest striker in MLS history, it seems like. If that man's on a tear, he's going to score against your club. If he's not going in the first 5-10 minutes, the man's going to do nothing against you. So it's one of those things, New York City, if they come out firing, I can see it being a 1-1 draw. If not, I can see us getting a win, but I'm going to be on the safer side and predicting 1-1 draw.
All right. Well, there you have it. We got some hopeful folks, and you got some skeptics, which to be fair, we'll see.
One quick shout out before we call it a day. FCD U23 squad. They're in the semifinals of the League for Clubs. That team has just been destroying the opposition at that level. They have a lot of players that went off to college, a lot of FCD, and if North Texas is going to be adding any players, you can't go wrong watching those guys play. They got a game coming up, I think on the 25th or 26th. It should be available on YouTube. Check them out. I mean, they've been destroying everybody, and you'll recognize just about every player on that team. If you followed North Texas, you followed FCD, you followed the academy, guarantee you'll feel at home watching them play.
All right, good shout out. All right, well, appreciate it, everybody. Thanks, Luis, for all the comments and questions. Thanks for everybody listening. Of course, I'll post the audio bright and early tomorrow morning, and so you can listen in if you're on the drive or whatnot. But Chris, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate seeing you.
Yeah,
thanks for having you.
Yeah. Kuv, even though the Packers jersey is unsettling on you, but we're proud of you. We're proud of you, and looking forward to this relationship between you and the president of FC Dallas kind of continuing. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Later.